All right, here we go again. Buckle up. So the think tank's moving inside. I don't know who's part of it, who's not part of it. Could just be Hashem and me. I don't know. But here's an idea. Again, I did post information about CSOs, court security officers. So they do have a young workforce in TSA. And one of the issues are they do, even without what's going on right now, they do move on. They do move on uh, for other agencies and departments at times. In fact, some of the people who just left TSA may have actually put in for ICE or something like that, or even a police department that lost some people, due to ICE or something like that. But here, the idea is you have retired police officers. What happens is a lot of I don't know what it does anymore, but it used to be where a police officer could retire in 20 years. So what they do is they look for another job, 20 years, 25 years, they look for another job. And a lot of them are, they've been fit their whole life. They're fit enough and they have a lot of experience. So you could actually break the whole thing down into have two different workforces. So you could have, your retired cops as part of it. Now that's a contract. I don't know if you can do a contract there. Maybe you can. But again, they run the front end of the courthouse, screening people in. They go to They go to trials, and if it's an out custody trial. So they, are capable people. Like I said, we didn't have a lot of state troopers. Had a couple. And the colonel was there. He was I think he became one of the guys died of cancer. Mr. Kennedy. He was a Baltimore City cop. And then I think, oh no, somebody else, Mac, was in there too. Maybe the colonel didn't take over. The colonel was like second in command or something. I can't. Maybe just because he was a colonel. But he was a Maryland State Police colonel. And then and they said he's a rich guy. They would always be griping. He's a rich guy. He doesn't even have to work. We're just schmucks for Baltimore City. That's why we have to work. So, but I mean, those programs ran themselves because these people have so much experience. I mean, ours did. I don't know about the other ones. I mean, we had a pretty good deal there, a pretty good group. Yeah, it gripes every once in a while, but you just let them do their thing and they do it. So TSA could benefit. I'm sure they wouldn't mind that kind of work. And I don't know what the pay is today for that kind of work, as far as, what it would take to attract them to something like that. So when you get all that experience in there, you could probably, I don't know if you can whip up a contract right now or not. I don't know what you do. You have contract officers that work for DHS. I know that for sure, even like former DHS. Maybe you could pull them in on that. Now, I don't know if they, can run the scanners without some training. They go down to Glencoe, Fletzy, and I don't even remember how many weeks the training is. And then I used to do the backgrounds. It's easy on a cop. You just go down and look at their police record. Right. Make a couple more phone calls, and usually it's golden. One of the last ones I did was this guy that worked for Secret Service uniforms. He's becoming a CSO, I think, down in Greenbelt. So it's pretty easy doing a background on those type of people. And then they're almost ready to go. I mean, you have to train them on some things, but Usually the way it works, there's, it has, again, you've seen it on when you're scanning for drugs at the border in Canada. I know that's a big video show people watch, used to watch at least on YouTube. So you can see how they scan. Same thing generally, I imagine. It's just different colors, different, what kind of matter it is, and shapes, and does it make sense? Can't do any worse than it's going on now. So again, you could, again, the training is the issue, but you could probably hire contract officers to rotate around to stuff like that. You just have to train them. I don't think it's that difficult. You really don't have to go to a real. I mean, it's been a cop. I mean, you sit there for a few hours, they'll figure it out. Right. Again, you probably have people that have done bomb squads and stuff like that. I don't know if we had any bomb squads. We have a couple motorcycle cops and canine, and I think one guy was canine and motorcycle. So again, that's what TSA should do. I think that would actually help them. Again, you got to work out personality differences, and because that could happen. You got some big cops that retire, and you just got to respect them and stuff. They supplement their retirement. It's not as bad now. People invest, but they used to need money. Again, some people just want money. I don't want to sit at home. I don't have any life. Been a cop their whole life. Have nothing. Never thought I'd be a cop that had nothing. Right. Now, I could have married in like a day. They just kept screwing around. God will get him. It's like God already got Mueller. He's down there in hell. I mean, it's not funny, man. I'm laughing, but it ain't funny, really. Don't want to get the wrong idea about me laughing. But I would do that. I'd set it in monthly. Set it in as soon as possible. I really would get the budget going. I don't know what they think they're doing. Bunch of weirdos. They're going to end up losing the election. I mean, if they don't, then something's wrong with this country. It's just, I mean, who goes against our own troops? And we're talking about Iran. I mean, you can't say you're getting Trump back for what he did to Biden. You just can't do that. Somebody's got to step forward of it. That's what the Russians do. That's what causes that. Telling you it has to be, you have to get them back and all that shit. I think you're going to lose in the end. People will be like, too much disrespect to the military. And then in Virginia, 40-something percent, 44% or whatever is gun owners. And that's, ones that talk about it. Some people won't tell you they have a gun. And some people, well, that's a big segment of the vote. It isn't a majority, but it's a big segment. So you could have somebody that was going to vote against Trump because they're mad because they're MAGA and go, wait a minute, I'm not going to vote a Democrat, and they'll take our guns. I don't know, six pieces of legislation. And I'm not a gun nut like that. I know there has to be regulation, but. So I got this table together. Boy, this one was more difficult to put together. And the rod wasn't long enough. This electric, it rises and lowers with electricity. Right. And look, the rod wasn't going to be long enough. It's an adjustable desk. And I had to go look, and I said, yeah, it's got the right number, but is the dimensions right? I thought they sent me the wrong one. But I got it to stretch out further. I like this much better than the one. Actually, I bought a new one. This one's going to go. I'm going to have another setup with my treadmill. So I have to go put this in the other room with the treadmill and another monitor and and my Surface Pro. Hopefully that port stays alive. I could have screwed Shurion and got a free repair, but I wasn't going to do it. I can't. Because I could have like joined that club and then so hey fix it like a couple months later my surface row. Like a pretty nice wall there in it with the seal. Some anti-ice organization made that. We'll use it. we we seized it. Now they said Christie Noma, but something's going on with Mullen. They put Mullen in quick when I said put Christie back in. I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but it could have. They might have some goods on Mullen. I mean, they got goods on everybody, so I'm not like saying anything like that. But maybe they believe they can manipulate him. Oh, look, Thune came up just as I said that. I'm looking at photos online. Now Trump came up. Yeah, what I would do, I would try again, call in the FOP, call some of your people that in police departments, and just discuss that whole thing. I mean, the court security officer thing is obviously backed by the FOP, right? So, I mean, they recommend it for retirement job. So, I would definitely look into that and see if you could create a similar program to work with your TSA officers. I don't know, how because again, if you pay one person more than another, it could be an issue. So right. I'm not sure how all that works. So you'd have to, but a lot of cops would appreciate it because they don't want to go back to the civilian world, but they don't want to work as a cop anymore. Right? And they get to work for the federal government or a contractor, I guess. But that's the key. You don't have to provide the benefits because they already have benefits. So that's the key to that one. Right. I think you can buy in with benefits, but it's not a big part of the contract because of because they all have their retire police retirements and usually packages in that. And then, like I said, you'll have additional you know experience, people that have dealt with some things. I think there was a couple shootouts you can read about. But as far as if they want to supplement the court security officers for screening, I don't know if you can do that, but it does impact judicial security. So I'm sure there is a way to put it in there, unless there's something it specifically has to be a courthouse or something. But it's definitely no. I think there is something in there where they can drive. I'm not sure, but I think there's something where they can do things like that. Something outside what you would expect a con. So I have to look it up. But I think they can drive a judge if you need them to, or something like that. I can't remember, or maybe they just did it because they had to do it or something. Oh yeah, the contract officer money. Right? But I don't know. Does anybody have money? I'm not following it real close because I could really give a shit about that kind of stuff. Just all bullshit anyway. But it would work to supplement the younger people with retired cops. It's always a good mix there, and then they pick up on stuff. Of course, you have a very advanced program because you've been doing it for so many years. misconduct. Supreme Court says police misconduct claimed by protester. Let's see where this goes. Trying to get to a desktop window. Supreme Court says. Supreme Court says police officer is immune from misconduct claimed by protester. Well, that's a big case because he was a nonviolent protester. The court, in an unsigned opinion, found that Sergeant Jacob Zorn is entitled to qualified immunity after injuring a nonviolent protester in 2015. The protester, Shayla Linton, accused Zorn of excessive force after he also put her arm behind her back, applied pressure, and lifted her up. She was unarmed and non-threatening, though largely non-compliant throughout the incident, according to court records. So that's interesting. Maybe telegraphing something. Well, I mean, it's not a sure thing, but that's definitely helping. This is part of it. Everything Alzheimer's. They're trying to make me believe I got Alzheimer's. It's in like every one of my feeds. No, it's not good. Yeah, because it knows you have it. They used to do attention. I do have probably have a little bit of attention deficit disorder at this point with all they did to me, but they used to like throw like it wasn't them. I have ADHD. It's not that they're doing this to me. This is really how they are. They're very sick people. All right, so I just thought we'd put that in there just in case you come up with a CSO core of your own. It would benefit. A lot of experience in those people, and they just want something to do when they retire, and also make a few dollars, have a respectable position instead of working at Home Depot. Right. All right. I guess that's it. Stay peace. I gotta do some recycle stuff. I have to get my boxes and break them down and all that. I have to get all this. I got a ton of boxes in here because I just built some desks and stuff. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.